Welcome to the Pit Check, your weekly news for the best new albums from your favorite extreme metal and hardcore bands. Today we've got a ton of crazy good death metal and deathcore albums to talk about. We've also got some metalcore and mathcore heavy hitters, and we've even got some beatdown and hardcore punk as well. So there's a lot to love this week. And as always, at the end of the episode, I'll have the list of all the best new albums that we did and did not talk about this week. And with that all out of the way, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and let's get right into this week's best and heaviest new albums. Okay, so let's get this out of the way right up top. Turnstile, their new album is finally out. You already know about it, you've already heard it, and you've already made up your mind long before this video came out. So let's be real, you don't really want me to go too in-depth on this one anyway. Finally, I can see that these birds not meant to fly above. I personally really dug this one. I did the visual album experience, and I definitely recommend that as the ideal way to experience this album if you haven't listened to it yet. It really ties together a lot of those spacey, dreamy elements that without these visuals, I could see some people not being super stoked on, but with the visual elements, they really tie everything together. Either way, check this one out if you like mixing some shoegaze and some post-rock with some classic hardcore punk. Alright, now let's get into all the albums that you actually want to hear about. Members from Sanguisugabog, Jive Bomb, Pig Destroyer, Misery Index, and so many more have all teamed up to create this absurdly heavy new supergroup, Bludgeoned by Deformity. This is a band that fuses 90s and early 2000s East Coast death metal with, quote, a smear of hardcore and grind influence. And this is their debut EP, Epoch of Immortality. All of the band members here have openly admitted their love for and influence by the band Pyrexia. I mean, that's literally where they got their name. So it's awesome that they actually got a Pyrexia feature on this album. And if that wasn't enough, this EP also has features from the Baltimore hardcore band Jive Bomb and the deathcore legends Waking the Cadaver. If you like your death metal abrasive and heavy as hell, this is absolutely going to be up your alley. I was also really impressed by how they flawlessly incorporated some of these beatdown hardcore and even slam riffs. I highly recommend this one, and I doubt we'll see them tour together. I mean, the band members all live across the country in different states with different lives. This album was even recorded separately. But man, if they somehow come together to make a tour happen, those pits are gonna be insane. Alright, this one is gonna be love it or hate it. The mathcore, metalcore, post-hardcore crossover band Kaonashi is back with their latest album, I Wanna Go Home. And yeah, obviously the first thing everyone talks about is the vocals. I mean, how could you not? They're definitely unique. And I'll fully admit, the first time I heard this band, I was not into it. So I don't know if I've just gotten used to it, or maybe it's just not so abrasive because they've been around for so many years. I've just kind of know what to expect. But I'm kind of into it now. Not only do the clean and harsh vocals have just so much emotion and heart, but the instrumentals on this album are equally passionate. All of these riffs and melodies are so catchy while being surprisingly intricate. You know, it kind of reminds me of that early 2000s like emo post-hardcore vibe, but just like heavier and more chaotic. The music here is somehow both manic and ambient, and the lyrics and storytelling build such a strong narrative of this on edge and unhinged main character, which not only justify the vocal style, it also kind of proves that it's a stylistic choice designed to mirror the like uneven nature of the narrator's psychology, which is super respectable instead of getting just some like generic metalcore vocalist. I definitely recommend at least checking this one out for yourself, and don't worry, I won't be offended if it doesn't click with you, but if it does, this is an impeccable new release.
I'm gonna make him feel that same burning shame.
Get your Jinko jeans ready, it's time for some big pants music. And yes, they did actually get a Jinko sponsorship from the Big Pants meme. The hybrid metalcore, nu metalcore band Orthodox has released their probably best album yet, titled A Door Left Open. How does this band just keep getting better and better? Every little thing you might love about them has been stepped up a notch. The riffs are more intricate, the breakdowns hit harder, and the vocals are somehow even nastier. And speaking of vocals, we've got some insane features from Comeback Kid and Mastodon, and a particularly disgusting and pig-squealing feature from Matt McDougal of Boundaries. And all of their electronic and industrial elements are so well incorporated without feeling forced, really fleshing out those nu metal influences without feeling derivative. This is a beastly album, and I definitely recommend it, especially if you're into some big shirt, big pants breakdowns. Need some deathcore to rebel and eat the rich too? The extremely underrated deathcore band Autumn Lies Buried has just released their newest EP, Mob Mentality. If you need some brutally heavy music that is strangely positive and with an awesome message, look no further. Sadly, if I were to engage with the themes of the lyrics, let's just say the algorithm would get very mad at me. But if you love the true rebellious spirit of hardcore music, you'll get it. Let's just say this is some great music to overthrow tyrants too. The guitars here are also showing off quite a bit, with some surprisingly technical riffs. And of course these beefy as hell breakdowns. And even the vocalist is flexing his range, especially his lows. This is a short and sweet new 5-song EP, and I recommend giving this one a shot, especially if you love some angry and aggressive and rebellious deathcore. Want some incredible Finnish death metal? The Helsinki-based death metal band Refusal has just released their third full-length studio album, Venomous Human Concept. If you want some aggressive and unrelenting death metal mixed with some grindcore and a little bit of hardcore, you can't go wrong with this band. This one gives me a lot of Entombed and Misery Index and even Napalm Death vibes. It's sharp and precise and aggressive while still being really groovy. And obviously brutally heavy. The guitar is riffing non-stop on this album. The bass is straight up shredding, and I love how high he's cranked up in the mix. And the vocalist sounds meaner and more ferocious than ever before. I really enjoyed this album, and I even copped one of their shirts on Bandcamp just to show them some love. This was a killer new album, and thank God, because we probably won't get another one from them for another 6 years. Dude, Illinois hardcore goes crazy. The brutally heavy hardcore band Payasa has just released their latest album, Baptized in Blood. Straight up, I love this band. They've just got so much going for them. The breakdowns are disgusting. The riffs are fun and chuggy at times, while being surprisingly punky at others. And the vocalist sounds like she's gonna rip your head right off. They also show off a ton of range on this album, while sounding deceptively simple. Especially in their more down-tempo songs, you can really start to see how surprisingly complex these patterns and rhythms are, while still being stupidly heavy. This was a killer album, and I'm so stoked this band is finally getting some recognition. And I really, really hope bilingual hardcore becomes a genre. Between this and De Madre and Si Dios Quiere and Lie, who needs Duolingo? Do you wish Lorna Shore had more slams? The symphonic deathcore band Sunscourge has just released their debut full-length album, Veiled Occult Mysticism. If you like your deathcore groovy and melodic and riffy, with tons of dark ambiance and tremolo picking, and a surprising amount of earth-shattering breakdowns and slams, you should check this one out. Sunscourge is a deathcore band with a guerrillas mentality, with guitarist Sean Feeney writing and composing all of the music and lyrics, and then getting guest musicians to feature on either singles or, like in the case of this release, getting a single guest vocalist to feature on the entire album. And here the vocalist of choice is the phenomenal Donovan Parchment, best known for being the former vocalist of Disembodied Tyrant and current vocalist of Carnivorous, along with 5 other bands. And dude has clearly been putting his reps in, because this is maybe the performance of his career. He destroys this whole album. I definitely recommend these guys, or I guess this guy and his friends. Either way, I'm excited to see what Sunscourge does in the future and who they manage to collaborate with next. And now, as promised, here's that list of all the bands that we did and did not talk about this week. There's a ton of good stuff in here. Definitely check out some of these other bands. Kneel Before the Death is a good one. Definitely check them out. Sedative was pretty heavy as well. There's a lot of good stuff on here that we just didn't get to because of time. So I'll catch you next week for some more death metal, deathcore, metalcore album reviews. And until then, be safe in the pit.